It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan. The top stories. PM to abide by UMNO's decision not to extend MoU with BH. And Transport Minister calls for investigation of airfare hikes following outcry. Good morning. The Prime Minister said he would abide by the decision made by the UMNO Supreme Council not to extend the Memorandum of Understanding MoU on transformation and political stability inked between the federal government and Pakatan Harapan when it expires on July 31st. As UMNO Vice President Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said he's subject to the decision made by the Council.
Keputusan MT dah dibuat semalam.
Tapi akan kerajaan akan ikut keputusan MT tak katnya?
Sepatutnya kalau kita akan tengok keputusan MT itu biasanya perlu diikutilah ya, walaupun mungkin bulan 7 ni macam-macam kalau berlaku apa-apa yang memerlukan perubahan apa-apa saya perlu bawa ke dalam MT semula, iaitu keputusan MT. Dan saya sebagai Naib Presiden UMNO tentu saja tertakluk kepada keputusan yang dibuat oleh MT.
On Thursday, the UMNO Supreme Council had decided that the MoU will not be extended after July 31st. On September 13th, 2021, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, on behalf of the government, inked an MoU with BH component party leaders, namely PKR President Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, then DAP Secretary General Lim Guan Eng, Amanah President Muhammad Sabu, and United Progressive Kinabalu Organisation UPCO President Datuk Seri Wilfred Madios Tangau. The MoU comprised 6 initiatives, namely empowerment of COVID-19 plans, administrative transformation, parliamentary reforms, Malaysia Agreement MA63, judicial independence, and the establishment of a steering committee. On another matter, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri stressed that UMNO's decision to endorse him as its Prime Minister candidate in the 15th general election is proof that there are no camps within the party.
Ini menunjukkan bahawa UMNO ni terus bersatu. Ya. Walaupun macam-macam pihak mengatakan ada grup dan sebagainya dalam UMNO, tetapi keputusan semalam jelas menunjukkan bahawa apa yang diperkatakan oleh masyarakat adalah tidak benar kerana UMNO terus kukuh, solidaritinya kuat, jadi tidak ada kamp pun di dalam UMNO.
Speaking to the media after launching the Koperasi Pudina Putrajaya Berhad Co-op Mart and Co-op Community Mart in Putrajaya on Friday, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also extended his appreciation to the party's top leadership who had unanimously voiced their support for him as a Prime Minister candidate for UMNO for GE15. Meanwhile, when asked if the Cabinet has decided on a targeted date to call for GE15, he said the matter has yet to be decided. In the meantime, UMNO Cabinet members welcome the nomination of Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri as the party's prime ministerial candidate for the 15th general election. In a joint statement on Friday, UMNO ministers and deputy ministers said the decision made by the UMNO Supreme Council on Thursday night proved that party president Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and his deputy Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan practice inclusive leadership. The joint statement, signed by 10 ministers and 10 deputy ministers from UMNO, said at present Malaysia is stepping into the endemic phase, which will focus on recovery, something that the Prime Minister is currently working hard on. The Prime Minister's concerns over the recovery of the economy, which includes the implementation of new minimum wages, people-related agendas, including empowering women's rights, as announced in the recent UMNO General Assembly, have all been accepted positively by the public. Therefore, according to the ministers, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri's nomination as the sole prime ministerial candidate from UMNO would guarantee the continuity of all plans and efforts by the government so far, especially on combating COVID-19 infections. The government is ready to consider the approval of the company's application to increase the frequency of flights and the operation of air traffic control services Transport Minister Dr. Sri Wee Ka Siong hopes that the effort will be able to resolve the issue of the increase in flight ticket prices, as well as the readiness of the three authorities to extend the airport's operating hours on Aidilfitri and the upcoming festivities. In a statement released on Friday, Dr. Sri Wee said the matter has been conveyed during a special meeting chaired by him on Thursday, which also involved MAVCOM, the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia CAAM, and domestic airlines. He said the meeting was held to find solutions following public complaints on increase in flight fares between Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah as well as Sarawak in conjunction with the Aidilfitri celebration. He also confirmed that the outcome of discussions with the airline companies will be informed to the public soon through MAVCOM. Dr. Sri Wee added that CAAM had approved the extension of the operating hours of air traffic control services at the required airport and assisted the airlines in planning for the additional capacity, especially with the approaching festive season. According to him, based on monitoring conducted by MAVCOM, airfares on peak travel date for the Hari Raya Aidilfitri festive season have increased compared to the average airfares in 2019. He added that airline ticket prices were detected inflated due to rising operating costs, especially the price of jet fuel, and limited resources to drive full capacity. In the meantime, the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry will speak with the Transport Ministry on their respective roles over the spike in express bus fares during the Hari Raya Aidilfitri season. Its Minister Dr. Sri Alexander Nantalingi said the talk would include discussions on its function in monitoring sales of express bus tickets.
Harga tiket bas ni memang kami di Kementerian DP menjaga harga, tapi harga ni berbagailah di kawal silia mana-mana agensi lain, kementerian lain. Kalau bas ni Kementerian Pengangkutan biasanya bersama, tapi kuasa kita membantu, ya? Boleh membantu, tapi biasanya lazimnya memang pengangkutan. Ini dari pengangkutan kita lebih eloklah kalau pengangkutan buat penjelasan.
He said this during a media conference after launching the 20th anniversary celebration of the Companies Commission of Malaysia SSM on Friday. It was reported that express bus fares would see an increase of almost 10.2 cents per kilometre starting at the end of this month ahead of the Aidilfitri celebration. It is based on a circular issued by the Land Public Transport Agency APAD dated March 21st, which informed that the increase in express bus fares will be effective during the validity period of the temporary modification licence. On another matter, Dr. Sri Wee said application for taxi and rental car licence will be reopened to individuals under sole proprietorship and partnership from April 18th to June 30th. The decision to reopen the applications that has been frozen since 2016 was made following requests from the public and existing taxi drivers who wish to have their own taxi licence. According to Dr. Sri Wee, for a start, the licence approval quota is set at 1,000 licences this year, and the Land Public Transport Agency APAD will analyse all applications received after the deadline. He said if the number of eligible applications that meet the requirements set exceeded the quota, APAD would consider the appropriate additional quota. The minister said APAD had also abolished the requirement of having 1 to 3 years experience driving a taxi or rental car stipulated under the Taxi Industry Transformation Programme. However, he said other requirements that were previously imposed remained to ensure a competitive and of quality applicants' participation in an effort to provide the best service to passengers. Now, works to repair damage by erosion at a main drain along Jalan Bukit Antarabangsa, which started on Thursday, is expected to be completed by June 26. Ampang Member of Parliament Dr. Zuraida Kamarudin said the Ampang Jaya Municipal Council, or MPAJ, had appointed a contractor on April 8th, and the repair works are estimated at 173,389 ringgit. She said MPAJ received a complaint on the incident on January 19th, and checks revealed that the erosion was for about 25 meter stretch, involving parts of the drain and slopes. She added that Ampang Parliamentary Office will continue to find a permanent solution to the issue and monitor the repair work so that it does not affect the nearby main route. Datuk Zuraida also expressed confidence that the repairs would be completed as scheduled. The report of the internal investigation of an audio recording that went viral on social media recently has been sent to the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM for appropriate action. Wisma Putra, in a statement on Friday, said based on the examination of evidence and the testimony of several witnesses, its internal investigation committee has identified the individual suspected of making the recording, which contained baseless allegations against the ministry. The individual had been called in to assist the investigation and admitted that the voice recording was made by himself. It was said that the individual called Datin, to whom the recording was addressed to, was an officer of the former foreign minister before the Pakatan Harapan government or the Perikatan Nasional government. More local updates later in the bulletin, but first, after these breather, deadly bomb attacks hit southern Thailand. Don't go away. Detonated an explosive device as he was fishing in a rice field in the Sai Buri district of Patani on Friday. During the incident, 3 others, members of a bomb disposal squad, were also left injured in a second explosion that went off as they searched for more devices about 50 meters from the site of the first blast. The incident occurred at about 3 a.m. local time when the civilian found a paper bag placed at the foot of a tree and, out of curiosity, picked it up to look inside. The explosive device then detonated, killing him instantly. Police said the second device was intended to target the bomb disposal team, as the insurgents had anticipated that the officials would search for more devices in the vicinity of the first explosion. More than 150 Palestinians were injured after Israeli police raided Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Baitul Maqdis. The Islamic endowment that runs the site said Israeli police entered in force before dawn on Friday as thousands of worshippers were gathered at the mosque for early morning prayers. The forces stormed the mosque compound without pretext and assaulted worshippers near the Qibli prayer hall. The escalation was said came as far-right Jewish groups called for raids of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound during the Jewish Passover holiday and the offering of animal sacrifices in its courtyards, which has not occurred since ancient times. The Palestinian Red Crescent Emergency Service said it evacuated the majority of the wounded to hospitals, including one of the guards who was shot in the eye with a rubber bullet. It added that Israeli forces had hindered the arrival of ambulances and paramedics to the mosque, while dozens of injured worshippers remain trapped inside the compound. At least 400 Palestinians have been arrested by Israeli during the latest escalation. Russia's defense ministry on Friday said it had struck a military target on the edge of Kyiv overnight with cruise missiles and promised more strikes against the city in response to Ukrainian attacks on Russian targets. The missile had struck the Vizar factory on the edge of Kyiv, which it claims made the missiles that sunk Russia's Black Sea fleet Moskva on Thursday. The ministry also warned that the number and scale of missile strikes on targets in Kyiv will increase in response to any terrorist attacks or acts of sabotage on Russian territory. It added that its forces had also taken full control of the Ilyich steel plant in the besieged port city of Mariupol and shot down a Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopter that it said had attacked the village of Klimovo in Bryansk region on April 14th. Now, the US has tied the North Korean hacking group Lazarus to the theft of more than $600 million in cryptocurrency from a software breach used for the popular Axie Infinity play-to-earn game. More than $86 million of the stolen cryptocurrency from the Ronin breach has moved from an Ethereum wallet through a service called Tornado Cash that allows anonymous token transfers. In a statement, the FBI said that an investigation had determined that the hacking outfits Lazarus Group and APT-38, both associated with North Korea, were behind the theft. The Bureau added that such crimes generate revenue for the North Korean regime, and the hack was likely the largest ever in the cryptocurrency world. The bridging technology has been under fire after more than $1 billion worth of cryptocurrencies were stolen in a little more than a year from crypto bridges. We're taking a breather. Coming up next, action from the AFC Champions League. Sports football, the AFC Champions League, Johor Darul Takzim kicked off their campaign in style as they outplayed Guangzhou Evergrande 5-0 in their Group I clash on Friday night. A hat-trick from Bergson da Silva, an own goal from He Lipan and a late strike from Ramadan Saifullah gave JDT the shocking victory over the Fabio Cannavaro side. With the win, JDT topped the group with 3 points, 2 points above Kawasaki Frontale. Earlier in another match, Kawasaki's Shintaro Kurumaya left it late to secure a 1-0 draw against two-time winners Ulsan Hyundai of South Korea in their Group eye-opener. Leonardo put Olsen in front after 21 minutes as he finished off a long through ball from Park Yong-woo. The match was about to end when Kawasaki salvaged a point as Olsen's goalkeeper, Jo Hyun-woo, failed to deal with a corner kick that saw the ball fall to Shintaro Kurumaya, who volleyed it home. Still on football, the Australian A-League McGing scored a late winner as Macarthur beat Brisbane Roar 2-1 in Campbelltown near Sydney on Friday. Macarthur took the lead 1 minute before the break when Ulysses Davila controlled neatly Jake Holman's cross before slotting the ball past Brisbane's keeper. Scott Neville drew level for Brisbane in the 78th minute, smashing the ball home following a corner kick before McGing sealed the win for the home side seconds before the final whistle. With the win, Macarthur overtook Sydney FC for 6th and the playoff spot on the table with 32 points. Five, including one-year-old, drowned in Semporna boat tragedy. The details when we return. Back. Former Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi told the High Court on Friday that Yayasan Akal Budi YAB had contributed more than 109 million ringgit for charity and denied allegations by the prosecution that not a single cent of the foundation's funds was used to help the poor. He said the 109 million ringgit was only part of the contribution for charity by the foundation, and there were others that were not listed because of his principle. He said this in his defence when questioned by his lawyer, Dr. Ahmad Zaidi Zainal, on the prosecution statement. Dr. Sri Ahmad Zahid is defending himself on 47 charges involving criminal breach of trust, corruption and money laundering. The trial before Judge Dr. Colin Lawrence Sequeira continues on May 23rd.
Tuan Sri. Waalaikumsalam. Apa Tuan Sri? Waalaikumsalam.
Five individuals were found drowned when a pump boat carrying 20 passengers capsized off Pulau Tandoan, Timbun Mata, near Semporna on Thursday evening. Director of the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA, for the Semporna Maritime Zone, Norimi Hassan, said 13 of the passengers were rescued by villagers, while 2 others remain missing. He added that the missing victims were identified as a 14-year-old girl known as Noranis and a 6-year-old boy known only as Aiman, both from Kampung Sungai Nakit. On the drowned victims that were found, he said they were aged between 1 and 33 years old, comprising 2 women, 2 girls and a boy. All the bodies of the victims were taken to Semporna Hospital for post-mortem. In Pulau Pinang, a man was charged at the Balik Pulau Magistrates Court with the murder of his girlfriend earlier this month. No plea was recorded from the accused, Abdul Jamal Ahmad, after the charge was read out to him, as the case comes under the jurisdiction of the High Court. According to the charge sheet, the 23-year-old was accused of murdering his 21-year-old girlfriend, Nur Diana Haris, at her house in Lintang, Kampung Masjid, Teluk Kumbar on April 3rd. The charge, framed under Section 302 of the Penal Code, provides the death sentence upon conviction. Magistrate Nur Fadrina Zulkhairi then set July 13th for mention, pending a post-mortem report on the victim. It was earlier reported that 4 men aged 23 to 28 were arrested around Teluk Kumbar on April 3rd and 4th after police received a report from a doctor at the Balik Pulau Hospital about a woman who was admitted to the hospital in an unconscious and critical condition. The woman died on April 3rd while receiving treatment at the Penang Hospital, and following that, police detained the 4 men, including the victim's boyfriend, to assist in the investigation. North Korea celebrated the 110th birth anniversary of its founding leader on Friday by holding Light Festival in the capital Pyongyang, known as the Day of the Sun in the nuclear-armed North. April 15th is the birthday of the late Kim Il-sung, which is one of the most important dates in Pyongyang's political calendar. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan. Thank you for watching. And to our Muslim viewers, Selamat berpuasa.